Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Christmas is in full swing over here, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to create some high-end Christmas decor dupes. I've been so excited for this video. I actually shared some of the pieces, a little sneak peek in my Christmas Decorate With Me video, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely go and check that out. I'll link it in the description box below. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Noelle. I make new videos like this every single week showing you guys how to get the high looking home that you want at a price point that you can afford, and DIY is a great way to do that. So let's go ahead and get into some of these dupes. So first up are these gorgeous ornaments from Pottery Barn that are now sold out actually, but they were $40 for a set of 6. So to get this look, I'm starting out with some old shatterproof ornaments that don't really fit the look I'm going for anymore. And I'm going to start by removing this top piece and setting it aside. And then I'm going to get this joint compound, and this is going to give the ornaments some really nice texture similar to the Pottery Barn ornaments. So I'm just using a paintbrush to cover the ornament in joint compound, and then I'm going in with a paper towel and I'm going to dab that to smooth it out and give it a little bit of a different kind of texture. So I just repeated this process for a couple more ornaments so I could have a bunch of different colors to work with. While the joint compound was drying, I started to use some rub and buff on the ornament tops, but it just wasn't working out very well. So I went ahead and took them outside and gave them a coat of this gold spray paint, and that worked a lot better. So these are the metallic paint colors that I'm going to be using to paint the ornaments, but I also used a basic black, a white, and a brown to vary the colors. And to paint these ornaments and give them lots of depth, I'm going to layer the paint. This is what I do anytime that I'm trying to give something a distressed or aged look or just give it more depth. I always start out with the darker paint color first, and I'm covering the whole ornament with that. And then once that's covered, I'm moving on to lighter colors to add more dimension. And when I did this, I used paintbrushes as well as paper towels just to give a different texture and look to the ornaments. And for this bronzy color, I actually mixed gold with brown and a little bit of red, and I really love how this turned out. Once the ornaments had dried, I attached the tops back on, and then I just tied this little piece of twine around the top to give it a similar look to the Pottery Barn ornaments. And that finishes off these Pottery Barn dupe ornaments. Next up are these ornaments from our house, which were $36 for a set of 4, but again, these are sold out. So I'm just going to start with this large clear plastic ornament, and I'm going to start by painting a gold ring around the center of the ornament. I'm painting it wider than the ornament inspiration, but I'll slim it down later, so it'll all work out. And once that first coat dries, I'm going in with a second coat to make it more opaque. And then after that coat has completely dried, I'm going in with this metallic charcoal gray paint and painting that on the top and bottom of the ornament and thinning out that gold ring so that it looks more similar to our inspiration. And then this definitely needed 2 coats, and it's looking much better now. So once that has dried, I am lightening the paint a little bit and then using a paper towel to dab it on to the bottom of the ornament and making sure that none of it gets on the gold ring. Once that dried, I went in with a slightly darker gray than the base gray to give it more of like an ombre effect, like the inspiration. And then I'm going in with that light gray again and dabbing it with the paper towel just to blend this all together. Once that dries, I'm adding another layer of color This ornament has a touch of brown on the top and bottom, so I'm adding that here just to give it that depth that the Our House one has. And then to finish it off, I'm just attaching this leather cord for the hanger. Next up is this set of hanging bells from Pottery Barn, priced at $50. So I picked up this set of silver jingle bells from Hobby Lobby, and the Pottery Barn inspiration used 4 bells, but I personally think the odd groupings work better, so I added a 5th bell. I'll also be using twine, black spray paint, and gold spray paint, and I'll also be using some rub and buff. So first I'm going to add a piece of tape at the end of this twine so that it can easily go through the bells as I string all of them on. Once I got all of them on the twine, I hung them outside so that I could easily spray paint them with this black spray paint first. And I let that dry before I went in with this gold spray paint. And I am going in very lightly over the bells so that the black still shows through and gives it more of that aged antique look. So once the bells were dry, I brought them inside, and you can see here the paint looks a little too splotchy, so this is where I'm going to go in with the rub and buff, and this is in the color Gold Leaf, just to smooth it out a little bit. So you don't need a lot of this stuff because it goes a long way, so I'm just brushing it on until I get the coverage that I want. So you can see here the bottom with the rub and buff is so much more smooth than the top, but still has that black peeking through. So after I finished rub and buffing the bells, I got my twine and tied one of the bells to the end. And this is going to be my longest bell, so I am pulling the twine to be the length that I want the entire thing to be, and then creating a little loop at the top that the bells can be hung up by. So I'm just wrapping this around itself into a knot. Then I'm measuring where I want my next bell to hang from the other end of the twine, and then just cutting it there so that it hangs slightly above the other bell, and then checking that it actually does hang there before I tie it on. For the next 2 bells, I'm taking another piece of twine and folding it in half, and then I'm going to cut it just above the last bell so that, again, it hangs right above that. And then I'm actually going to tie this piece of twine around that first knot that we made at the top. So then I have 2 new strands of twine hanging down to tie the new bells to. Then I'm attaching those bells, again making sure to check the hanging length before I tie them on. And then for the 5th bell, I'm actually tying another piece of twine to the knot at the top, but instead of having both ends hanging down, I'm tying it so that the only one side of the twine hangs down, and then tying a bell to that piece of twine and then removing the excess. Then to give this top a more finished look and cover all of those knots that we made, I am going to take another piece of twine and leaving a little bit of twine at the top. I'm wrapping it around the knots, and then I'm just going to tie it down at the bottom and remove any excess twine. And that finishes off these hanging bells. Okay guys, those are all of my Christmas DIYs. I hope that this video inspires you to get creative, and also if you are looking for more Christmas DIYs, I'll have linked in the description box below some of my videos from last year, so you can check those out if you're interested. And if you are new here, definitely consider subscribing. It really helps me out so much. And let me know in the comments below what your favorite piece was from the video today. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your holidays, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye guys!